Hi there, my name's Jo and I'm one of the Special Collections and Archives team who work here at the University of Kent. This little video is designed to give you a short introduction to what archives are, what material we hold here at Kent and how we can help you during your degree and beyond. I hope this is useful. Please do drop us a line, get in touch with us at any point and come and use us during your degree here. I really like archives, they're really cool, and I hope that you enjoy what we hold here too. So yeah, let us know if we can help. Enjoy. So before we have a look at what material is held here at Kent in our special collections and archives, it's really important that we have a shared understanding of what archives and special collections actually are. So we're going to take a couple of minutes to do a quick brainstorming activity. So you can do this either with a pen and paper or type notes on your phone or just have a think about it in your head. But the first thing I'd like you to do is to think about what comes into your mind when you think of the word archives now. Maybe it's nothing, that's okay. Maybe it's stereotypes about things. Maybe you have a rough idea about the kinds of materials that's held in archives, but have a think about what types of material are there. And then come back to this video once you're done. Great. Now that you've done that, I'd like you to imagine that you are a historian from the future, looking back at how Kent students lived in the 21st century. If you were a historian from the future, what would you need to understand life now? What types of material, what types of media would you need? And again, jot these things down and come back to us once you've done. Great. Now, if you have a look at your two lists, you're probably going to find some fairly big differences between the two. Archives, people tend to think hold just physical things. It's often things like old newspapers, documents, printed material, things from the past. And if you're looking at your list about what's relevant now, you'll tend to find it's a lot more digital material. It tends to be things like social media posts, videos, emails, websites, and there's a big difference between them. The reason I wanted you to do this exercise is because archives actually collect all of that material. It's not just the old material, it's stuff from the present as well. But broadly speaking, archives are responsible for looking after documents, records and artifacts for use in the future. So it's both past and present. It can be all types of material. You'll have film reels, you'll have manuscripts, old books and newspapers, of course, photographs, diaries, all kinds of different material. Special collections, on the other hand, it's refer to groups of material where the total collection is more significant than individual items. So the item itself might not be necessarily rare, but for example, if you've got thousands and thousands of books on cartooning, that's a pretty niche subject. And when you have that wider context, the collection as a whole becomes more important. So, for example, we've got about 1,000 books belonging to David Lloyd George, who was the Prime Minister during the First World War. If I were to tell you that a lot of those books were actually about sheep, that might give you an idea of where his interests lay, and that might be quite different. That might affect how you understand him. So obviously, I'd like to add a disclaimer. David Lloyd George's library has lots of military stuff, not about sheep, but it's kind of the additional context that you get with special collections, where the whole is more important than the individual. Archives as a whole vary hugely in what they collect and why they collect it. You get places like county record offices. Our nearest one is the Kent History Centre over in Maidstone, and the cathedral also have some material to do with local history, but they have a legal mandate to collect things from the local area. Sometimes that's your really important documents like your birth, marriage and death registers. Sometimes it's things like building plans, so if you're trying to extend your house or renovate it or redo an old building, there'll be plans of what's happened in the past. Sometimes it'll be archives and collections of important families from the area. That they have a legal mandate to collect that material. You'll also get places like the National Archives, which again have a legal mandate to collect government records, all the official things. And that's a really important part of archiving, ensuring that people in the future can access records of today. And then you get places like us at universities. University archives tend to be a real mishmash of everything. They're a great place to work, but they can also be a little bit scary if you've not encountered one before. University archives will tend to collect things to do with the history of the university. So we have the University Archive, which collects things from all to do with the founding of the university in the 60s, all the different buildings, all of the different sections of departments. And we also have a lot of things to do with alumni here too, and the colleges. But we also collect a lot of material that reflects academic interests, because our mission at Special Collections and Archives, our main purpose is to support the university's learning and teaching and research. So for example, we have a huge amount of theatre material here because Kent has always had a very strong drama department, and we've had academics who wanted to get collections here so that they could be used during their time teaching and doing research. We also have a lot of material on politics and satire for similar reasons. Archives, as we've kind of said, they collect things from both the past and the present for the future. It's really important to bear that in mind about this idea of collecting things from now, because we don't just look after the old material, we're still collecting things, we're still developing things for future use. And digital archives are a huge area of work for Special Collections, looking at how you transfer media, whether that's from videos or floppy disks, how you get that into a place where we can look at it today when the technology has changed, how we store that material. And the other thing that's really important to note about Special Collections and Archives is that material gets used. Ensuring that material gets used is a real universal mission for everyone. I think there's sometimes a stereotype that archives are closed off and that we are the dragon guardians of things who try and protect these special documents from the public. And I think that has really shifted in recent years. I think that personally, from my point of view, if you don't have people using the material, what you have is a basement full of stuff. And what's the point in investing all that time and money and resources into having your basement full of stuff if no one comes and uses it and gets inspired by it, or learns something different or enjoys it? So accessing archives, although these places are a little bit different to what you might have experienced before, they seem a little bit scary, please don't be afraid of them. These spaces are for you and your enjoyment. And that's key pretty much across all archives that you'll find. Okay, so now we've established what Special Collections and Archives are, it's time to have a think about the kinds of material we hold here at Kent. We have over 600 different collections here at Kent, and I'm not going to talk to you about all of them because that would take way too long. So here's just a little bit of a taste of it. We're probably most famous for our British Cartoon Archive. It's mostly political cartoons, so the kind of things you'd see in newspapers, and we have over 200,000 images that you can view for free online, and lots of archives of artists as well, and there are over 300 artists represented in there. It covers a time period that's mostly from the 19th century to the present day, and we're still very much collecting in this. So at the moment, a lot of what we're getting in is Trump, Brexit, COVID, really happy subjects like that. But it's a really great resource for looking at how cartoonists actually represented daily political thought and what kind of everyday people were thinking. So it's a great resource for that and many other things. We also have the University Archive here, which I kind of mentioned briefly before. It holds a lot of records to do with the founding of Kent, lots of meeting minutes, lots of documentation, but it also has the records of the Gulbenkian Theatre at Kent here, and it also has an awful lot of photos of students from across the years, which is a lot of fun. We're also very well known here at Kent for our theatre and our popular performance collections. That covers mostly from the 17th century up to the present day, and it's particularly strong on pantomime material and music halls, which were a form of entertainment in the early 20th century, and a lot of things to do with Victorian entertainment. So what people did before they had cinemas and Netflix and TVs. It's a really interesting source, and the theatre collections really make you think again about the Victorians in particular, and how uptight they were, because they weren't, and they had a lot of fun at the theatre. We also are very well known for our British stand-up comedy archive, which was developed in conjunction with an academic here at Kent. There's over 30 different artists represented, and it goes from the 1980s to the present day, looking at how we record something as ephemeral and changing as stand-up comedy. And there's a lot of audiovisual and digital material within that. We have a whole lot of material to do with windmills. I really love the windmills. They're a fantastic, very strange and wonderful, wonderful collection. And they're really great for looking at things like the history of photography and landscape. We also do have some rare books from the pre-1700 era, and lots of books to do with the history of science. We also work very strongly with our colleagues down at Canterbury Cathedral Archives and Library, because they have an awful lot of material from that period too. But our rare books are beautiful, and I love working with them. We also have things like modern first editions, and we have material relating to local history, because we're the University of Kent. We have to have things from all across the county. So that's just a real taster of what we hold. Okay, so what do we actually do here? I've included this slide not because it's vital that you remember all of this, but to kind of give you a taster of the type of work we do, and to maybe get you thinking about careers in this sector. Sadly, we do not get to read collections and archives and books all day. But here are the types of things we do. We're quite a small team, so there's quite a lot to cover. One of our main jobs, of course, is looking after collections. We process material so that you can find all of that information on our catalogues or through library search. That's really important, because if we don't have details about what we hold, how are you going to know it exists? We also do a lot of physical caring for material. Some stereotypes about archives are wrong. Some stereotypes about archives, including the dust and cleaning, are true. We do have to process new material carefully, and we have to put it in acid-free boxes and things like that to ensure it stays safe for hundreds of years. So we do a lot of physical care on our collections. And we also manage digital archives. We think about storage and how to transfer things from video cassettes, which are degrading. We do a lot of work on that too. We work a lot with other teams in the library so that everybody knows about our collections. That's kind of subject librarians and people working on the frontline desks and a marketing team. We work across there to ensure that everyone can access things. We deliver a lot of education sessions for undergrads, postgrads and school children. That's something I work a lot on, and it's always really fun and rewarding. We develop exhibitions and events using our collections, whether that's to support an academic project or to celebrate a particular centenary or so on. We do a lot with that. We have our reading room service, which is open to everybody. That's staffed by us, and we manage all the bookings to do with that. And we also work a lot outside of the university. So we answer a lot of queries from everybody. We do get queries from across the world. It's surprising what we get. We ensure that our archives meet national guidance and standards, so that we're doing the same thing as everyone else. And we also work a lot with community groups and academics and things to, again, get our collections out into the world and use them really creatively. We also do a lot of work with our interns and our volunteers. We love our volunteers. They are fantastic. We couldn't survive without them, because they do so much kind of looking after material and checking things that we don't always have the time to do, and it's a great experience for them. So that's just a taster of the kinds of work we do. So with all of this in mind, how can we help you as a student during your time here at Kent? We obviously have our reading room, which is open for research. That's generally open all the time, both term time and outside of it, and you can check our website for current details of when it's open. We do a lot of training sessions and handling material. We can work with you to develop those skills so that you can use them both in our archive and at other archives as well. We know, alas, that we are not the only archive in the universe, and that sometimes if you're doing research for your particular interest, you may have to go elsewhere. That's fine, we won't judge you. Come and have a chat with us if you're not sure about using other archives or accessing other archives, and we hope that the skills you can gain from looking at our collections will help you elsewhere. We work a lot on helping people with their dissertations in collaboration with the rest of the library teams. If you're particularly interested in doing something to do with one of our collections, come and have a chat with us, and we can work in collaboration with other people to ensure that you've got all the resources and support you need. We have our exhibition and engagement space, which is just outside where we're located in the A block of the Templeman Library. So in the shiny new extension bit. I say shiny and new, it was opened in like 2017, so not that new now. But we're on the A block in the first floor. If you find the gallery area, that's basically where we are. And we also have a lot of internships and volunteering opportunities and career advice. I think one of the real strengths of our team is that we have all got very different backgrounds as to how we got here, and we're always very happy to have a chat with you if you want to get some work experience, or you're not sure what we do exactly, or anything else like that. We're always happy to have a cup of coffee and chat. So those are the kind of services we can offer, but please do get in touch with us. I like to think we're not that scary. Come and drop us a line, and we're more than happy to help you with whatever you need.